All
Fuck
right, so
it.
we got
Fuck Ipswich. Fuck Ed Sheeran. Fuck the backwards East of England sons of bitches with no class. Fuck that club.
okay. So we got Sir Lion here. I was talking some shit about him yesterday, not showing up because he was a little bitch. But it turned out that he actually had a really good reason to not show up, so I feel really terrible shit talking. I mean, I don't feel terrible because I feel like I should have. I feel like that's the type of behavior that we support on this pod.
Fair is
But
fair.
like retrospectively, it was bad. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the picks again. I already have them written up, so I'm just gonna keep them there. I'm just gonna give my thoughts. We're gonna start out talking about last week a little bit, and then we're gonna talk about this week. Um, so let's do this.
Good week for me last week.
Last week was not a good week for a deck.
Shit.
You got your total bet was 1,000, and you
I
got
lost.
back 661. So you lost $300. Yeah.
That's about right for me.
And so I bet 1,000 and I got back 2,600. So 2x my. So
Oh,
am I the best gambler of all time? Obviously. Am I going to continue putting up these types of results? No. I'm going to put up even better results. So with that,
like 50 on Arsenal. What was I thinking? Fuck.
yeah, so no, Arsenal won.
That's what I'm saying, but I only put 50. I should have put more of it in.
No, I think that was a smart move on your part. I think I put too much money on Arsenal.
Dude, you doubled
Um,
up, killed it.
eh. All right, so let's do this. Let's start off Brighton tie Southampton. Oh, by the way, last week I realized this while we're editing, and I'm not gonna edit this right now, but like I realized this while we're editing, like we ended up just giving numbers. So because we're gonna wait until the end, and then we never actually talked about the games. So let's just talk about the games while we're giving the odds. So we have Brighton -50, tie 410, Southampton 600. What
Oh,
do you have?
dude, 100 on 150 on Brighton. No, 200 on Brighton. Man. Fuck Southampton. 200 on Brighton. They're gonna smoke them.
Yeah,
Smoke.
so for this, I think this is actually so for me, like I think this line makes sense to me. And so for me, like I don't bet on teams, I bet on value. Like I bet on like what I think are mispriced lines. And so because of that, like I just, I'm not gonna put a lot of money on this because it's correctly priced in my opinion. So I just put 20. I put it on a tie because I think a tie is always more likely than an underdog win. You know what I mean? Like, like Liverpool can tie Southampton easily if you just have a shit game. But like
No,
for an underdog to actually win, that takes a little bit more. So yeah, that's why I put just 20. So Brentford -150, tie 320, Leicester 390. What did you do?
150 on Brentford. Actually, no. I'm gonna put 100 on the tie.
100 on the tie. Okay. Yeah, for me, like, you know,
Aston
like if people want to hear my in-depth thoughts, like go to the episode that I posted yesterday. But like for me, like Brighton, Southampton, right? So the way that I see the Premier League this year is that we kind of have five tiers, right? And I'm not look, it's gonna sound like I'm a Liverpool homer. I'm not being one. I just big objective here, right? The first tier is just Liverpool by itself, right? The second tier is Man City to Aston Villa. I don't think Nottingham Forest is in there, but we're just going to keep them there, right? So 2 through 8, right? The third tier in my mind is Fulham to West Ham. And then there's Everton to Crystal Palace. And then there's Southampton, right? And so in my mind, like I think any team on a higher tier is going to beat any team on a lower tier, right? And the thing is, Brighton and so we look at Brentford and Leicester, right? Brentford has 17 points, Leicester has 10. So there's a 7 point difference between these two, right? Brighton has 22 points and Southampton has 4, right? So there's an 18 point difference between these two teams, and there's a 7 point difference between Brentford and Leicester, right? Why are the odds for Brentford and Leicester almost exactly this? Not exactly the same, but very similar to Brighton and Southampton, right? Like if Brighton is a -250 favorite, Brentford should be like a -100 favorite. It shouldn't really be that decisive. like these two teams are very close to each other, right? Versus Brighton and Southampton. So that's my thinking about why I put 120 on Leicester is just like it doesn't like you're giving me plus 400. Like I'm gonna take that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's kind of my thinking. So Crystal Palace tie Newcastle. What do you have?
Oh, Newcastle. 100 on Newcastle to win.
Under Newcastle? Yeah, I agree. Like, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Newcastle are favorite. Newcastle is the better team. I don't really care about home field that much. So the fact that you're getting plus 140 on Newcastle, I think is kind of ridiculous. So, yeah, I completely agree. I put 20 though, because what happened, I think initially when I did this, it was like 50 or 100. And then I just loved all the other ones so much that I kept on having to take from something else. And that's why I have 20 on here. Nottingham versus Ipswich.
I fucking hate Ipswich. Let's go. I'm gonna go for a Nottingham win. I'm gonna go 150.
Okay, you only have 450 left, just letting you know.
Not betting on the United games anymore because I'm not jinxing it. So I'll bet on everything else. The United games I will not be betting on.
Okay, we'll make an exception for you for United.
So
Yeah, so Nottingham Ipswich, like Nottingham Forest is technically a tier two team. For me, they're a tier three team in my mind. Like they're really more like Brentford and Newcastle. Ipswich is the bottom of tier four. Like, yes, Nottingham Forest should be favored a lot by over Ipswich. Should they be favored by this much? I don't think so, and that's why I put the money on Ipswich. Um, Wolves versus Bournemouth.
Bournemouth beat Brighton, right? Or did they lose to Brighton last weekend?
Let's see. Bournemouth lost to Brighton.
They're playing Wolves.
Wolves are 17, Bournemouth are 13. There's a 6 point difference between
Oh,
them.
just because the odds are nice, I'm gonna go for a tie.
Okay, how much?
On that.
50?
Yeah.
All right.
Does that get me to? I'm at 500, 600 now.
Yeah, for me, like, I just think that let's see, Wolves versus Bournemouth. Yeah, I mean Bournemouth, I just think are just way better than Wolves in my mind. 6 point difference. They basically have 66% more points than Wolves do. Yeah, it's at Wolves, but I think tie is also a good pick. Um, fuck it, I'm gonna do tie. I don't think I did any ties this week. Let's do 100 on tie. Oh no, I already submitted it, so I can't change. Okay. But I would do tie. West Ham versus Arsenal.
West Ham got a good result in Newcastle. Oh, fuck. Arsenal need to win. They don't have a good record at the Olympic Stadium as well. Tie looks tempting as well. I'm gonna put 50 on the tie. I don't see Arsenal losing. 50 on the tie.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I just ate a little bit. I'm gonna take some water.
650.
So for me, we're gonna talk about this at the end, but for me, these two are the matchups. These are the odds of the week, right? So as I was talking with Brighton is minus 250, Southampton 600, right? West Ham is 550, Arsenal is minus 220, right? So these are almost exactly the same odds you're getting with this, right? Okay, let's look at this. Brighton and Arsenal have the same record, right? West Ham has 15 points. Southampton has 4. And for some reason, West Ham is getting the same odds while West Ham is at home versus Southampton away at Brighton. Like for me, this is just like, the way I see it is this, right? Like, I think there's like a 35% chance West Ham wins, right? 1 in 3. you're getting like 1 in 10 odds over here, right? Or 1 in 7 or something. So I put 180 on this. I think that either West Ham is going to win or Aston Villa is going to win, and I'm going to win all my money based off of one of these two games. So yeah, I put my money on West Ham. Chelsea Villa.
100 on the tie.
No tie. Yeah, I mean this is similar, right? Like I don't think that I don't think this has as similar odds as Brighton, but if you look, this is basically the same odds as Nottingham Ipswich, right? So Nottingham Forest is number 7, Ipswich is number 18, right? There's an 11-point difference between them. You look at Aston Villa has 19 points and Chelsea has 22 points. These teams are basically the same this year, right? In most years, like the difference between 2 and 3 is 3 points, right? We just have this really wonky year where like the difference between 2 and 9 is 4 points. That never happens, right? So for me, I just think like you're getting plus 350 on Aston Villa versus Chelsea. For me, I think you have to take that. That's why I did that. Man U Everton, we're skipping this just for people who did listen to the other episode. You know, the fact, look, I'm not trying to shit on Man U right now, but like they're 12th. And we were talking about this, you know, on the phone before, but like, you know, I don't care like how good of a team you are. If you're not winning games, you're not a good team in my mind, right? Like, yes, Man U could be 5th, but right now they're 12th. And right now Everton's 15th. And right now, the difference between Man U and Everton is 5 points. And you're getting the same odds for Everton as you are as Southampton versus Brighton. So that's why I put that money down there. Just for people who, you know, haven't listened to the other episode. All right. You have 250 left. Tottenham, Fulham. Give it a little spiel because I'm gonna eat some chips.
Tottenham have lost Vicario. He's out for a couple months. This should be a Tottenham win. I have 250 left, so I'll put 50 on Tottenham because the odds ain't great. But I'll go big in the Liverpool City game. Fuck. City haven't won at Anfield. They've won once this millennium. Tie is quite reasonable.
So 50 Tottenham?
Yeah. I'm just looking at the Liverpool City game. The tie looks probably promising.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'll talk about it quickly, but you know, I'm just being the same drum over and over again. I know I am, so I'm just make it very quick. But Fulham have not 18 points. Tottenham have 19 points. How the hell is Fulham getting 4-1 odds on this game? It's ridiculous in my mind. So 120 on Fulham, you know. Do I think for me, just for people watching, right? And this is for people who want to follow my bets, like a friend of ours. Like for my bets, do not follow my bets unless you are willing to put down money on all of these games. Because for me, like I am expecting to lose 60 to 70% of my bets, right? But if I win 40% because of the odds, I'm up, right? So for people watching at home, do not just cherry pick 1 or 2 bets of mine. Do the entire slate or nothing. Because I'm just looking for value, basically. Anyway, 50 on Tottenham. So Liverpool, Man City. What you have 200 left. Where are you putting it?
200 on the tie.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Fuck yeah, I'm gonna go big. 200 on City. They haven't won. I need them to win because fuck Liverpool. 200 on City.
Yeah. For me, like I think is Rodri back against Liverpool? Do you know?
He's not back for the rest of this year. Season.
Oh, that sucks. Okay, so yeah, I mean, what I said on the other video is that like I would put money on City if I was impartial. Like I think any game where you are getting Manchester City plus 220 you have to take that. That is just ridiculous. You know what I mean? That's like getting plus 220 on Tom Brady's Patriots. Like, I don't care how they're doing. If you get plus 220, you should take Man City. That being said, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I can't really bet against Liverpool. So I just put 50 on Liverpool. Do I think Liverpool's going to win? Yeah, I think Liverpool's going to win. So that's why I kind of feel confident doing that. So yeah, is there any bet of the week that they want to highlight?
Uh,
Man City, Brighton.
I think Chelsea Villa is going to be a hell of a game. Uh, I don't want to jinx him. I think United Everton might be really exciting for the neutrals. It could be a lot of goals, could be some drama. Uh, and then yeah, Liverpool City is just going to be nuts. Either Liverpool get beat, hopefully, or City just get blown out of the water. I don't see it being a tie. I think it's going to be pretty decisive. I think one way or the other, we're going to know. It's either going to be an 11-point gap or a 5-point gap, and we'll know how the season's going to unfold. Because it
Well, I
could
mean,
force City to like not win in 6 and then go to like the most informed team in Europe right now and get a result.
the thing is that like Man City after this weekend can very easily drop out of the top four. Like
Yeah, they could.
Chelsea's playing Villa. Chelsea can win. Arsenal, who's Arsenal playing again? West Ham. Like if you actually look at the odds, right? Like on all these teams, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Brighton, odds are that they all win and Manchester City loses, and Manchester City ends up being in fifth place at the end of the weekend, which would be crazy. Yeah, it'd be like the first time they dropped out of the top four, you
Since
know.
2021. Since 2021.
Yeah, that's just insanity, right? So I mean the beauty of this season is that we're just Rodri is just making his case that he should have won the Ballon d'Or. If anything, he should win the Ballon d'Or again next year, in my opinion.
I think he's obviously going to be used. I think it's gone past Rodri now. I think there's a lot of issues there that I think they didn't. I think they had a very bad summer, which is obviously in hindsight you can say, but they have a lot of players that are on the wrong side of 30, especially 32, 33. Um, Guardiola signing a new deal. He's going to have to revamp the squad. I think they're going to spend big this summer. I think they're going to refresh some of the defense, the midfield, definitely. Um,
But by the way, like how fucking lucky is Liverpool? Because like we were looking at this time of the schedule, and we were both like the both of us just saying like, man, they have Brighton. Yeah, so they have Brighton. Wait. Sorry, let's go back to October. Actually, let's go back to mid-October, right? So we were looking at this schedule, mid-October to November. We texted about this we said because we're talking about how Man United had the shitty part of their season, and we're like, okay, now Liverpool has the shitty part of their season, right? We had Chelsea, Leipzig, which is a good team. They're number two in Bundesliga right now. Arsenal, who cares about this? But Brighton, Leverkusen, Villa, Southampton was a gimme, Real Madrid, and Man City. And Liverpool could end up out of the toughest part of their season, ending up undefeated. I don't think anybody saw that coming at the beginning of the season.
no,
Well,
definitely.
except for me.
I,
But I'm also Liverpool homer, so it's not like I was doing dispassionate analysis. I was shit talking, but like this is just insanity. And we're talking about Colin Kelleher being our goalie right now. You know what I mean?
no, definitely. It's interesting. I think you make your own luck as well. You can only beat what's in front of you, but every team you've played has seemed to have some major injury issues as well. Not an excuse. You've still beaten them. But what I find with Liverpool and even Arsenal and clubs like this, they'll go through the gauntlet, no problem. But then against this, I mean, you could argue quite easily that that whole gauntlet of fixtures you just faced, Southampton away was by far your toughest test. You guys were so close to fucking that up.
Yeah, we were really close to fucking that up. Like
Fuck,
I did not feel good during that game.
that useless goalkeeper just gave away 2 shit goals. They should have won 2-1. They gifted.
Yeah.
Then you got to take him anyway. Salah did what he does. Just fucking idiot Southampton, but it is. It's why they're bottom of the table. So
There was one PK that we should have gotten that we didn't. So I just want to put that on the record. And like we also Yeah, but like I mean, as you said, right? We are a little bit lucky, but I think this happens a lot in football. Is that like every team gets lucky to an extent during a season, and the teams that are able to capitalize on that luck are the ones that are successful. You know
Oh,
what I
you definitely
mean?
need that bit of luck, and you also make your own luck. So the way you not play the attacking intent, you're going to get the chances. But I find that Liverpool, similar to Arsenal did a couple of years ago in 2023, you'll go through the gauntlet, but then you'll drop points in some games where you probably shouldn't drop points, and then
Yeah.
slip up.
I think so. Liverpool has done that the past couple years. Not 2 years ago, but last year. I think part of that was also Klopp fatigue. Like Klopp just did not have it in him yet to like keep on motivating the squad. Arnie Slot has just brought in like, if nothing else, like I think that this is due, or how should I say this? Assume like if Arnie Slot had not brought in any sort of tactical changes or anything, any sort of those types of enhancements, he could have had these types of results just simply by the energy that he brings to the team right now. You know what I mean? Like he's really like bringing the passion. That Real Madrid game, like yeah, I know Vinny's not playing, but like they still have Mbappe, right? Mbappe just disappeared as hey, who has been an Mbappe hater for the longest time?
Wild. It's wild what's happening.
Am I
I get
right? Am I
he might
starting to be right?
he might have a rough first season and then just go on to kill it the next 4 or 5 years. Let's see, but it's not been ideal, far from ideal for him right now at Madrid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, though, is that like, okay, if you want to make the argument, I mean, not you, but if other people want to make the argument that like, okay, like Mbappe has had a rough season because he's trying to adjust to this new reality where there's Vinny, there's Rodrigo, there's an Endrick, right? Like if you
I would say for a while, Rodrigo was the linchpin for me. The hard work he did, he really put balance in that front three. Losing him, everyone talked about Vinny, everyone talked about Mbappe. Rodrigo's it's like the Bobby Firmino, the unsung hero of the trio.
I think that's actually like a really like I mean I don't want to say it this way, but like that's really insightful. I think that if you look at some of the best attacks, like you look at them and you're like, like they had this guy who they could have upgraded, right? But like I think you're right that a lot of times you want to have that guy who's a little bit worse and just puts in the work. So like
Hero,
I
yeah.
think a perfect example is Bobby Firmino for Liverpool. Like Robert Firmino is great. Like no one's saying he's not, but he's not Salah and Mane. He's not as good
Exactly.
as those guys. And
He
like
the grunt work to make the other two shine. Similar to what Carlos Tevez did when we had Rooney and Ronaldo and Tevez. That was the guy that the fans were like, all right, the other two are the superstars, but without him, it doesn't fit together. Similar with your Bobby Firmino. You had
and I think that you can't really understate the degree to which having that effort changes the complexion of the team. Like having a guy in the front who is like running and hustling, and like I think this might sound kind of stupid, but I think that doing dumb pressing is actually a very effective thing for a team. Like for example, like if you have like a triangle over here where like with like the right back, the center back, and like the midfielder, right? And like the left wing like presses okay, so you have a triangle and the right back has the ball, and like the left wing like runs up to the right back, and you're just like, what the fuck are you doing? He's just gonna pass to the center back. But doing that type of stupid shit shows we're in this to win this fucking game. Like I am going to do what I need to do to win the game. And like, yeah, like somebody like Bobby Firmino, like Tevez, like I mean, I hate to say that Christian Bale is this, not Christian Bale, Gareth Bale is this guy, but like, like having workmen, I think is really important to like turning around a team. And like Real Madrid don't have any workmen right now. They really like who is their effort guy?
and not just workmen. I've found, especially it seems to be when it's Madrid, last 3 years, Madrid City in the Champions League. You know who gets all the goals against City that knocks them out when it's Madrid? Rodrigo. He just pops up with important goals all the time. All the fucking time. It's crazy. So not only is he a workhorse, but like Firmino, like Tevez in their times, he gets important goals at important times when it's like 0-0 or you're only 1-0 up or you're 1-0 down to equalize in the big clutch moments in a Champions League semi-final against probably arguably the only other team that can compete. He does that for you. So Tevez
And,
always against Chelsea for us. Bobby Firmino used to do it against Arsenal and whoever else against for Liverpool. Rodrigo has been the guy for Real Madrid, 100%.
And this is what we were talking about, I think last week about poachers, is that poachers get looked down upon. Like they really don't get the respect that they deserve. But like poaching is a skill. There's a reason why certain people, Inzaghi, would always get those balls and other people never get the balls. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a reason. They're
Knowing,
there.
knowing where to be, like being able to have that foresight to be like, I need to be in this position at this time, and I know the ball's going to come here and I can get a tap in or whatever. It's like you said, being in the box in the right place to get the finish is
It's instinctual.
yeah, it's a dying art form. You don't have strikers like that very rarely these days. Ruud van
Yeah,
Nistelrooy, legend. He got a lot of his goals in the 6 yard box. He just knew where to be.
it reminds me of like rebounding in basketball, where like
Right.
Kevin Love will say, like if you look at Kevin Love, who like, yeah, he was kind of a stat pattern, but like whatever. But like he would when you talk about rebounding, he'd be like, look, it's all about positioning. It's all about looking at the ball and knowing where it's gonna go. And like he literally is like, look, I just study shots and like find out where they're gonna go. And if I can take 1 or 2 steps faster, I get the rebound.
Dennis Rodman, same thing. The whole thing with the Bulls, when I watched that Jordan documentary, it was like he was the best rebounder. He was like, I just used to watch the ball. It wasn't rocket science. I look at the ball, I know where it's going to be, I will be there.
Yeah, and he was also like Kevin Love is like 6'5", Dennis Rodman 6'6". They should not be able to get the rebounds that they do, but they do because they put in the effort. So yeah, that is kind of the problem with the Madrid team for me. Like Rodrigo, like I'm a big locker room guy. I really believe a lot in the locker room, and like replacing Rodrigo, who is the perfect locker room guy, with Mbappe, who is the worst locker room guy. It's like that's what you get, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Is he? Do you think he's one of the worst locker room guys? Do you think that's fair?
So that was going to be my question to ask you. Do you think like the Mbappe of 2018 when he won the World Cup at however young he was, like that is now being killed off by the PSG sort of glamour lifestyle the last 4 or 5 years, being that guy with the fat contracts? Like, do you think that part of him has died and like metaphorically died?
Yeah, yeah,
Like it
100%. I
almost like
mean,
Neymar, like he's just done now. Like this is you're only
I
going to right now.
I don't even blame PSG in the fat contract. I specifically blame Neymar. I think Neymar is a terrible influence. I've watched his documentary Neymar of Perfect Chaos twice. Just because I'm a fucking nerd. I mean, I watch Take the Ball, Pass the Ball like 100 times. So like I just watch these over and over. And Neymar is literally like, and I don't dislike Neymar. I think he's a good guy. Like he's a good player. He's living his life. He's enjoying himself. But like he is the absolute worst locker room guy. And he literally like you put a young Mbappe next to him. It's like that is fucking suicide. Like if Mbappe had gone to Barcelona, like he would be. If he had gone to Barcelona, if he had gone to Madrid, if he had gone to Liverpool, like these are clubs that would have made Mbappe like not just as talented as he is, but like the leader that he is. Those are clubs who like, and this look, I hate Madrid, but I respect the hell out of them. They're really big on like, look, this badge is bigger than you, but not PSG. And Neymar, I recommend people watch the documentary. He is not a competitor. He isn't. He's just like, look, I just want to live my life. He's kind of like Ronaldinho a little bit. I mean, they're both Brazilian, so it's kind of makes sense.
It's similar to I think the toxicity that Pogba brought to the dressing room after he actually won the World Cup. Thought he was we lost Zlatan that year, so Zlatan used to keep him in his place. Uh,
Yeah.
Pogba affected Lingard, who's also pretty useless. That I think is now the reason Rashford is the way he is as well. The influence of Pogba and Lingard. And there's talks of Pogba being brought back for a third time for a free transfer to United. And there's United fans that actually want this. I'm thinking that's insane because he's going to fuck up Kobe Mainu. We have a young prodigy who's like Stockport Sadorf is what they call him, which is brilliant. He's that guy. But if you have this toxic influence next to him, even for a year or two, I don't want that corrosive energy around it. I fuck that. Even if Pogba could help us, he kills it. Fuck him. Good luck to him. Go fuck off somewhere else. We don't
Yeah,
want.
I mean, like, I completely agree. I mean, like, for me, I don't have personal animosity towards those types of people because I get it. It's like, look, I'm an extremely talented footballer. I don't really care that much. I'm gonna make $40 million a year, and like, it's fine. And like, I get it, but like, I don't want them on my fucking team. I don't
I don't
want
want
Paul
that.
Pogba on my
You
team.
do that. You do you. I don't want that corrosiveness affecting the young up and comers that actually
100%.
wholesome and there's something about them. They're local lads as well. They're not some foreign export. With all due respect.
Yeah.
lads, they should know what the badge means even more so. And you want to keep that kind of naivety and that innocence. Not even naivety, that innocence there. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah, and
such
I mean, I,
lost.
I I think we talk a lot about how lucky we got with Ronaldo and Messi, like having these two superstars. I mean, we were talking about it last week, having these two superstars at the same time. But I don't think we really talked about how lucky we are that they went to the clubs that they did. That Cristiano Ronaldo was under the wing of, SAF, and that Messi was brought up in Barcelona. And then really like, Messi at his worst was PSG. And even then, like he wasn't a locker room killer. He was just like, look, like you guys are shitty. I'm just not gonna put in a lot of effort. Like, good on him. You know what I mean? He's getting his paycheck.
I think the mentality as well, it's based on the player as well. So that competitive edge that Ronaldo and Messi had alongside the world class, unbelievable talent is also what made them where they
Yeah.
were in the end. Like Pogba could have been anything really, the level of talent he had. Um, players,
That's the thing also is that like that France locker room is like a fucking landmine, right? You had Pogba, I mean, I mean Griezmann, who's not like your real, for a while was not really your good locker room guy. He seems to have changed that at Atletico. Um,
had to. I don't
yeah,
think Simeone would stand for it. I think he's had to. Diego Simeone is not the guy to fuck around with. If you're not that guy,
yeah.
you're out.
And Griezmann's also been humbled a little bit, where he doesn't have any options besides Madrid, besides Atletico.
His Barcelona experience, I think, taught him a lot. It's funny you talk about
Yeah,
this clubs because my next point I wanted to bring up was Jude Bellingham. Huge fan of his. I love his cocky attitude. You know, literally, score goals for England. He's literally your mouth. Who fucking else? Who else is going to do it? He knows he's the guy. Stories came out this week prior to the Liverpool game. He was in the media. He was like, "Oh, I was kind of annoyed at the media. I felt like I was a scapegoat." Um, Two things to say. First of all, if you're that guy that's going to yell, who fucking yells when he scores? If you're the big dog, you can't just take all the praise and shy away from the hard times as well. England bottled it. We came up short. You get the stick as well as the carrot when you do when
yeah.
you do bad. However, I will caveat that with he, he came out afterwards and said actually the reason he was so quiet and didn't want to talk to the media was they were harassing his family. They went to his grandparents' house over the summer. I think that definitely crossed the line. I agree with him there. But then don't just bottle it in and wait 4 or 5 months later. Fucking address it head on. You're Jude fucking Bellingham. Tell the media what the fuck you lot did.
So I actually thought you were gonna take it. We talk about something else with Jude Bellingham, which was a very Liverpool centric story where he basically came out and he said all these Liverpool fans thought I was coming to Liverpool. No, I was never considering Liverpool. It was always Madrid. And
He,
like,
he said that? Like,
yeah.
never considering. That's a lie.
No, no, no. I think his exact quote was like the gap between the possibility of me going to Liverpool and how much people thought it was a lot bigger than people thought it was. And I mean, I mean, he didn't say that aggressively. I mean, I thought that was fine. I mean, as a Liverpool fan, we all like we were on Jude Bellingham's dick before
Scared.
most other people were.
I was.
Like
We were there
we
first.
were.
He knew we were shit. He wasn't going to come to us. But go on, yeah.
Yeah, we were on him in 2021, and like he wasn't being talked about back then. Like we thought he would be better than Holland, and we thought that because everyone knew Holland was going to go to City, and like so we were like we're going to take the consolation prize. And back then he was a consolation prize, but like back in the summer of 2021, Jude Bellingham's price. Do you know what number Klopp said no to for Jude Bellingham in 2021?
They're like 60 million.
45. And then now obviously it's like 130 or like oh right now it's like 200.
So in 2020 January, the same January window we bought Bruno Fernandes, we had Jude Bellingham in the building before he went to Dortmund when he was at Birmingham, and we could have got
Yeah,
for 20 million.
that's crazy.
We had Ferguson come and give him and his family a tour, and you know what? United at the time, he made the right call. Even as enough because he went to Dortmund where he knew he made strictly footballing decisions. Even the Dortmund to Real Madrid move, because I think going to I thought he was pretty. I was pretty scared. I thought it was quite close he'll say that now like this, but I think it may not have been as massively close or as big a deal as obviously the British media made it. But I think he was a very good chance of going to Liverpool. I would have given him a 65, 70% chance that summer of going to Liverpool.
I also
Well, it was a position you lot needed to this was before Szoboszlai and McAllister. This was a position you wanted to strengthen. And him and Trent were boys. Like, it just made sense that he was going to end up there. You're thinking, fuck, if they get him, we're fucked. Everyone's fucked because he can carry on the team.
I also think like part of the reason why he said that, and I'm not bemoaning him for it, but I think part of the reason why he said that also is because like the reason, it's one of those like it's not you, it's me type of things. Like the reason why he didn't go to Liverpool is because Liverpool weren't willing to pay the money. We could have gotten the deal done had we paid the money, but Liverpool is one of these clubs. We're kind of like, and it's owned by the same group. It sucks as a Yankees fan that it's owned by the Red Sox, but like I like the way that they do this, where they're like, look, our price for Jude Bellingham is $60 million. We are not paying 60 million and one penny. And like it sucks as a fan sometimes, but then they overcorrected and then they paid for Darwin Nunez, and you're just like, okay, you literally did this because you got burned. But anyway, that's not really here nor there. But like I no problem with the comments. Like it's completely fine in terms of his comments about the media. Again, like either they're showing up to his family. I mean, the British media is psycho, but like.
Anchors, yeah. I mean, I didn't know about the grandparent thing, so I was going to bitch about this yesterday. Or complain, I should say, about Bellingham. Like, oh, if you're giving it Johnny Big Bollocks when you're winning, if you lose, take it on the chin. You can't cry then. Obviously, I found out today.
Yeah. But I agree with what you're saying. Like he should have said, just fuck the media back then.
Yeah, fuck the media. Not because when we're not winning and you think I'm a scapegoat. Because even the scapegoat bit, I was like, well, if you're the guy, then you are going to be the scapegoat. You can't have it one way or the other.
It's your responsibility at that point.
If you want to take the responsibility as who fucking else when you score, well, then if it doesn't go our way, then you are the fucking scapegoat. You can't have it.
Yeah.
You got to have it. You can't have your cake and eat it. You got to deal with both. But it is fucking definitely crossing the line, harassing his grandparents all summer. That's bullshit. They should not do that. But the British media, everyone knows they're fucking hacks out here. So.
Well, I mean, I think that like the way you say it when you're Bellingham is just like, look, some version of like, hey, our team, we let down the fans. I'm obviously one of the leaders of the team, so I take it on the chin as my responsibility. However, the media is being a dick to me. You all hate the media too, so say fuck me, but say fuck the media too. And I think that like the fans would get behind that. You know what I mean? Like,
so yeah.
Any other big stories for this week?
Yeah, just fuck Ipswich, fuck Ed Sheeran, fuck Sky Sports for doing that. Like, imagine, and not just because I think Ipswich should have won. If anyone should be pissed, it should be Ipswich. They definitely deserve to win that game. My annoyance came from the fact that after the game, you're trying to be professional, right? Sky Sports used to be the pinnacle of football coverage, sports coverage. They are such clowns. The blonde fucking retard presenter has let Ed Sheeran come in post-match press conference.
Oh yeah.
And the body language alone, you didn't have to be a body language expert. See, Ruben's like, what the fuck is this? What is going on? I'm in the middle of my thoughts, and this random little pop star wanker, who looks like he's fucking inbred as well, mind you, just come out of nowhere, starts hugging the other pundit, Jamie Redknapp, who's a fucking clown as well. The blonde presenter chick's completely ignored Ruben. She starts talking, oh, hey, Ed, like, what the fuck are we doing here? And this could have been Arnie Slot, this could have been Pep Guardiola, anyone. When a manager is present, how about this? Ruben Amorim goes to fucking the recording studio tomorrow and starts interrupting his fucking recording session. Or goes into his conference. Like, respect the profession. You can come and hug and get your high fives and your autographs, you bunch of simpletons. Once he's done, he's only there for a couple of minutes. Let the man speak. It's his first fucking game in the big job.
Well, like what I think they should have done. I mean, I personally, I have no problem per se with him showing up at the press conference, but what you do is you coordinate it beforehand, right? Like you have him give an answer, and then he gives like a signal or something, or someone knows, okay, and then you do the oh my god, and cheer, that type of thing. But you don't do it while he's in the middle of talking. You do it, once the thought's done.
Panned off, like it seems so unprofessional. So really,
yeah.
And the butt of the joke is Ed Sheeran actually had half a brain cell, it turns out, and actually apologized afterwards. Fuck the apology. Just don't fucking be a little bit smart. We get your You know, Calvin Harris fucked your girl anyway when you were with her Ellie Goulding, so fuck you, you little cuck. But stay in your fucking place, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't realize this though until I was watching the game. Like, because people were talking about Ed Sheeran a lot. Like, they literally have his tour. Like, he's literally sponsoring the team.
Fuck it. He's not even from Ipswich, apparently.
Oh,
Someone was
really?
my mate's fucking wife was telling me the other day he's not even from Ipswich. He's from like Brighton side or something, outskirts of London.
Well,
So
then he should be a Brighton fan.
well, they don't want him. They don't need him. This
He's from
backwards.
Halifax.
I don't even know where
Where's
that is.
that? I don't know anything about England. I try not to learn that much about England.
East
Yeah,
of England.
he's from Leeds.
Oh wow, well, there you go. There you go. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you why he's jumped onto the Ipswich bandwagon because they've just been promoted. They have no history. They're a shit little club. No one gives two fucks about them, and
Yeah.
you can tell their fans ain't shit. Because again, you know, your newly promoted side, you're just joining the Premier League after 20 plus 24 years of absence, whatever, 20, 22 years of absence. Have some decorum, you know, present yourselves. You're not Leeds United. Be a little bit better. These dumb wankers. A, Ed Sheeran does that bullshit. B, their players are kicking lumps out of our players. There's no attempt at playing the ball in the first half. And then finally, just the cherry on the top of the icing on top of the cake, some retard Ipswich, inbred Ipswich fan decides to start kicking off with Roy Keane, and Roy Keane goes, I'll meet you in the car park outside after the game. And I bet you any that dumb cunt didn't wait for Roy Keane in the car park. Like, show
No,
some
I don't
class.
think so.
You are now in the Premier League. This isn't Championship League One bullshit. You're not some fucking Sunday League team. Show a bit of class, you useless clowns. Kieran McKenna is a coach for him. He should have left in the summer. I can't wait to. I'm gonna say, you know what? If United make top four, if we win the Europa League, win the Champions League, I'll celebrate. I'll celebrate even more when Ipswich get relegated. I will pop the champagne when Ipswich get relegated. Fuck that club.
Can I can I change the subject quickly? Is that all right? Or do I talk a little bit more about how much you hate Ipswich?
I'm done. Fuck Ipswich. Ipswich and Vancouver. Fuck them both. I'm done. Done, please.
Can I tell you I love the new Champions League format? So I am so
I
first of all, like obviously one Liverpool being number one overall is great, but the fact that Real Madrid are currently at 24.
That's the cutoff, you know. Real Madrid just make it in on the cutoff. Like they'll have to go through qualifying for the next round. Anyway.
Oh, it's 24. I thought it was for some reason I thought it was 26. Yeah, it's 24.
24 because nine from 9 to 24 those 16 teams will go head to head amongst themselves for 8 more spots. Top 8 go through, and PSG are out at the moment. They're not even qualified for the next round.
Girona also. Leipzig. Leipzig is 0 points. That's fucking crazy.
That is wild. Actually, I didn't even clock that. Red Star Belgrade. Like, look at the quality of the teams there. And then you look see PSG. You're like, what the fuck?
So, like, the thing is, Real Madrid's like schedule is not easy. So
That's
they
what
have
Atlanta away is going to be very tough. They are very fucking organized. Very
also like a like Atalanta specifically, but like Italian teams in general are not the type of teams that you really want to play in the Champions League. Like just because like the thing about Italian squads is that first of all, Atalanta is almost in first place right now in Serie A. Right now in the Champions League, they're fifth. So like they are the favorites in this game, right? And they're also like, less Atalanta. I always think of Atalanta as more of like a free-flowing type team, but like that is in comparison to other Serie A teams. Like Serie A teams beat the shit out of you. Not as much as they did in the 80s, but they show up to fight. You know what I
Atlanta,
mean?
Atlanta very organized as well. They keep the ball well. The fans behind them in that stadium. That's not going to be an easy game at all. They should beat Salzburg and Brest. Those should be 6 points in the bag for them, which might be enough to carry them forward. They might just sneak in. But Madrid, let's be honest, Madrid are that team. They could sneak in and then they could go
And
on
then
a
win.
yeah, that's who they are. It's fucked, but that's who they are.
No, and that's why I'm hoping that they don't get in. Like, look, I do not want them. So I really like Darun,
Pass it.
Ederson.
And I'm hoping United sign Edison, obviously. And they got De Ketelare from not the one that used to be at AC Milan, I believe. He's a good player.
Oh, Is Salzburg? Yeah, Salzburg is kind of a gimme. They have 3 points.
Brest are both kind of gimmies, even though Brest are doing pretty well. I'll send you a link. No, no, you think that's funny? CBS did a killer spot about
No, I saw that. Yeah.
Richards. They went in, and poor bastard, he barely held it in. It was a good challenge.
Let's see this. I'll say so. Brest are currently 11th, but like the thing about the schedule is that it does advantage the bad teams a little bit. But like, let's look at because I don't really I don't follow French football. I'm guessing you don't either. Campionato Italiano, Campionato Francese. Oh wow. Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen is that Real Madrid lose um to Atalanta and then they beat Brest and they beat Salzburg and then they end up with
Draw with Atalanta and win the other two. That's 7 points. That should be enough to keep in there. Now the problem is PSG, I believe, have to play Man City. I think that's still to come.
yeah, but PSG is not really like a threat.
No, in the sense
Like
that like it's a good chance they will not make the next round.
oh yeah, I think there's a good chance they don't. Let's look at their lineup right now.
Bayern Munich, I'm not gonna lie, the red card was really harsh. That ref was a real dick. I'm not gonna lie. PSG had good spells. That Neves is some player, but
Oh, but Zara Emery is not going to play then. Oh, sorry, DeBelly's not going to play because he got a red.
yeah, he's out for the next game.
Is Neves is the guy who was on Wolverhampton Wanderers, right? Or am I thinking somebody else?
I'm thinking of Ruben Neves. This was the one that was at Benfica, Joao Neves. United were desperate for him, but we couldn't afford.
Oh yeah. They still have Marquinhos, but how old is Marquinhos now? Is he like 33?
Must be 30. I think he's 29, 30. He's still around that age.
How shitty does Hakimi feel? Because Hakimi left Inter Milan, which were kind of in a like downward spiral at the time, and he went to PSG. Well, he was at Inter, right? He was at Inter, right?
Yeah, he was at Dortmund. He's been at Inter. He's been at a few
Yeah.
different ones.
And,
Yeah,
and he went to PSG right at the top of PSG. And then now he's like the best player on the team is Ousmane Dembele. Like he must feel like shit. You know what I mean?
it's weird because even like Fabian Ruiz, he did so well for Spain in the Euros. He's a good player, but he just doesn't translate in the PSG shirt. Nuno Mendes for me is a brilliant. I think United should go all out under Amorim's system to go for Nuno Mendes. He is fantastic.
Yeah, Fabian. I really liked him when he was at Lazio. No, he was
Yeah,
at Napoli. I liked him at Napoli.
solid. He's
Yeah. Okay.
he did
Yeah.
well.
What?
And City, I believe, and they've obviously got two more games after that. But I think PSG are they're fucked. If I'm being honest, and if they don't qualify out of this group, Enrique can't be in a job surely.
Yeah. And then so Man City. I think they're going to turn things around. So who do we think are going to be the top eight?
I think Villa will sneak in. I think Monaco drops out, and I think Bayern Munich sneak in as well.
I mean, one thing about this is that there is a 5 point difference between 20 and 2. So like this is all up in the air in my mind.
There's still 9 points to play for. Yeah, 9 points to play for. So
Yeah.
a lot could change.
Like
Inter doing well. I mean, even Dortmund being up there, everyone's kind of Barca and Dortmund kind of gone on the radar a little bit, but Inter and Liverpool still undefeated. Um,
Atalanta's undefeated too.
saw that as well, actually. Yeah.
Um, is Serie A turning around? Because Serie A for a while looked like they were on a downturn, like they were blowing up. But like
I
you
think
know,
there's cycles in football. I think the last couple of years, actually, not just in Champions League, but Europa League, Europa Conference League, there's been an Italian team in the final. So I think 2023, there was an Italian team in each final of each three of those.
yeah.
They all lost, actually. No,
Yeah, that was the intro year. I mean, Italian teams are really good at knockout football, or rather, like it's really
Yeah,
the type of its style that Italian teams have mean that you're gonna have Italian teams go far because Italian teams play like 1-0. You know what I mean? So like those types of games are up in the air a lot of the time, but they're not really good at actually winning the championship because at that point you face Manchester City or Real Madrid, and then
I think what helps as well is the usual the traditional stranglehold of Juve, Milan, or Inter has kind of been broken up by your Napoli's, your Atalantas right now, Roma as well. Up until recently, we're doing well, so I think it helps when it's a competitive domestic league. That usually translate to, like you say, a couple of those teams doing well in European competition. Maybe not winning it, but they get it far. Like you can
yeah.
see the German
I
situation.
mean, the inverse of that, as we've kind of talked about, is Bundesliga.
Yeah,
Because in Bundesliga, Bayern Munich just basically have, a cakewalk all year. And then they go up in the Champions League against like real teams and they just, forget how to play against good teams. You know what I mean?
I mean 6 point gap right now after 11 games. Is Harry Kane finally going to win a domestic league title, or are they going to throw it away again? Leipzig, Leverkusen. They
It would
should
be
win.
hilarious. I mean, the curse has to break at some point, right?
And Kane, my goodness, wow! If they don't, if Mbappe they go out of the Champions League, Real Madrid, and then Bayern don't win the domestic title, then I actually do believe in those curses big time.
Yeah, I mean Mbappe. I don't think Mbappe is ever going to win a title. I think this is Galacticos Part Two. That's
You think,
that.
don't think he gets a Champions League?
No,
Wow.
I I'm very, very pessimistic about Mbappe. I do not think like I think he's good, but I don't think he is like I do not want to have him on my team. That's just my feeling about Mbappe. I think he's a team killer. Oh fuck. Real, but they're one game back. Barcelona's pretty here, I'll share my screen again. Barcelona's pretty comfortable up in first right now.
Uh, Only 4 points and a game in hand for Real. Let's see.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see. That one's always been reasonably close. I don't think anyone's running away with it, but they'll be within touching distance.
Girona has really fallen off.
I
They were top three last year.
think it's always tough to replicate. You're seeing that with Newcastle and Villa the last 2 years, respectively. Newcastle a couple of years ago, Villa from last year to this year. Like it's hard to juggle Champions League, especially in this new format with the extra games. I think it's hard to juggle that responsibility plus your usual domestic stuff. Especially when you're in a team like Girona that I don't think has gone and bought 10 new players or 5 new players. I think they do teams do well to keep their superstars from the year before, but without adding at least 2, 3 of them, you struggle with the new demands on the
Yeah,
team.
I mean, last year was really embarrassing for the EPL because we had four teams and two of them just burst into flames very quickly.
Oh yeah, United. Shit.
Yeah.
United.
So yeah, so top eight right now, I think personally, Liverpool, Inter, Barca, Dortmund, Atalanta, Arsenal, Villa, and Bayern. That's what I see. I think like 50-60% is gonna stay the same, but then Leverkusen, I think, is gonna drop out. Like they've just had a shitty season this year. Similar as what you were just talking about with Girona. Um, yeah. Monaco. I have no respect for the French league personally. So I just always undervalue French clubs.
Fair play.
But City looks like they're way too far behind.
Where's City? City are 17th, 8 points, eighth place.
Yeah.
No, I think
Uh,
City. If City win that PSG game, I think they're right in there for the top eight.
That's true. So they get six more points. Yeah, they're 14. Yeah, they can probably get top eight.
Make it seven.
Um, all right. Do we have any other big topics? I mean, like, I would love to be able to gloat as a Liverpool fan, but I feel like it's just kind of self-evident. Like, this team is just fucking firing on all cylinders. Darwin Nunez is not even making terrible misses anymore. He had two misses on Sunday, and they were both completely reasonable. They're both completely reasonable misses.
I didn't see the game yesterday. I was training the team, but
Yeah, so there was one no no oh yeah, so he had two misses yesterday. One of them was um I forgot the exact sequence, but basically, um, I'm gonna kind of make it up, but like it was basically this. Like, I think it was like Szoboszlai, did like a forward cross, into the box, and Darwin Nunez caught it like 10 feet in front of the keeper, and he juggled it, and then Courtois ran at him, and he kicked it, and it was like Courtois
Oh,
was like this far away, and like could he have done it with a one kick? Maybe a one touch, maybe, but like you don't fault him for that. And he literally Courtois' hand was over here, and the bottom of the ball was over here, and it was just like you can't get mad at the guy for that. And then the second one was, I think it was Mo Salah had a cross, and so like here is the edge of the goal, you know, we're talking about the right side. Here's the edge of the goal. Edge of the goal is right over here. Nunez was right over here. Salah crossed it from over here, and Nunez did this like weird headbutt, and it like curved around the goal, and it looked like he was like passing the ball, but then like it literally almost got into the goal. And again, like that's one of those things where just like there's no way he could have made that. So like you're not mad at him for that. So yeah,
true.
man, we're number one in the EPL. We're number one in the Champions League. We just need to win the FA Cup. The other two are in the bag.
Uh, right, let's see. Let's see. Fucking hell. I've been nursing this flu for 10 days. I don't know why I can't shake it. Maybe it's because you cunts are on top as well. It's been a rough 10 days.
Just demoralizing you.
Energy levels are low, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm gonna start with, United beat Everton. I'm hoping the Raiders win tomorrow. Fucking 2-9 record. Brilliant. And they're playing the Chiefs, so let's see. And then fucking I hope the Bears lost today. I fucking hate the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Jets fan, so yeah, we're 3-8.
Still better than 2-9. Fucking Raiders.
My
Yeah,
girlfriend started yelling at me.
with
Okay.
United beating Everton, City beating Liverpool. You have a good one. Yeah, I'll catch
Oh no, 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 we're good. I mean, I think Everton's gonna win. Sorry about that, but I think it's gonna be. We're getting plus 600 on that, so I'm gonna get $700, and then I
Oh,
literally just need one more bet to win.
let's see.
All right, dude. Yeah, I'm getting yelled at. So yeah, it's good footy talk, good picks.
Yeah.
Hopefully we both make money this week.
I'd rather lose money as long as fucking City win and United win. Odds off the Raiders to beat the Chiefs. Imagine that. Fucking hell.
All
Boy
right,
Max
dude.
won the title. You should be happy.
Who?
Your boy Max won the title. Stafford. There you go.
No, vas aquí.
Yo quiero ver si es otra pana o no.
It's my girlfriend. She's like, "Are you talking to another girl?" And I'm like, "No, I'm talking to like an Indian bloke in England."
Sound like a bad, yeah. You can hear the voice.
No, yeah, I guess that's a good ending. I do have to end soon. This has been a great season for Max. So there's only been one other driver in the history of so as we talked about, there's a drivers championship and a constructors championship. There's only been one driver in Formula One history who has won the driver championship twice without winning the constructors championship. And that is actually, ironically enough, the father of Max Verstappen's girlfriend.
Oh, no way. Wow.
Yeah, it's a nice coincidence. But yeah, so the big thing in Formula One, especially now, but like it's always been a thing, but especially a big thing now is that people always say there's always a question of is it the car or is it you? It's kind of similar to like Brady and Belichick type of thing. So one thing that all the greats do is they make sure to win in two different cars, right? Like Michael Schumacher won at Benetton and then he went to Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton won at McLaren and then he went to Mercedes. Fangio won in like 13 different places. If you don't win in two cars, you can't really claim to be the GOAT. But with Max right now, like he literally won with like one of the worst car. Like Red Bull for 3/4 of the season has been the fourth best car. And he won the championship. Not only that, like Lando Norris, who's a little fucking bitch, basically said that like, you'll appreciate this, and I'm gonna stop my F1 rant. But like, so basically, Max had the best car for 5 races, right? And he had a 35 or 40 point advantage. And then McLaren went up. And literally, what Max Verstappen was trying to do every weekend was not lose points. It was literally just like, don't lose too many points, stay in the race, try to save this thing. And it turns out that since McLaren has had the fastest car, Max Verstappen still got the most amount of points during that time. So Lando Norris is just like, oh, I couldn't, it's an insurmountable lead. It's just like, since that lead happened, he still beat you. But yeah, the championship was over in Brazil. This was just a coronation, but it was a nice coronation because fuck Lando Norris. Next year is gonna be interesting because we have Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari. Ferrari is going to be by far the best car next year. We also have George Russell basically taking the helmet Mercedes. And then we have Lando Norris being a little bitch. What I'm hoping as a Max fan is that you have a huge fight between Lewis and Charles, the two teammates. Because in Formula One, teammates are the biggest rivals. And then we have a huge fight between Lando and Oscar. And they just take points off of each other. And then Max Verstappen just smooth sailing on by and wins the championship. So it'll be great.
All right, well.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
See, yeah, next week.